Dementia residents can get cantankerous on visits and outings, but there are ways of being able to reduce this, especially for special occasions. Dementia residents like to be informed and prepared of what's coming up. They don't like shocks and surprises because with dementia stress, they have so much to contend with. Dementia anxiety, dementia blanks, dementia spin. And on top of that, if they have a shock and a surprise on the day and they don't know what's coming up or what's happening, it's too disorientating for them. Whereas if they're informed in advance that on Saturday there's a big event or a trip coming up, a birthday, they know that in advance. They've been informed of that each day of the week. It's up on the whiteboard, it's in the diary. Then they'll be able to refer to that and register that on that day, this is why they're getting dressed up, this is why they're getting their hair done, and everything that goes in place for a special day. And they're less likely to be cantankerous because of it. I mean, it does take a lot of organisation. If your mother, for example, doesn't like hair washing, it may be that not to do the hair washing on the day of the actual birthday, but rather do the hair washing the day before so that she's not as stressed and upset because of that. So there's less to do on the day. Just maybe a shower, all the clothes are ready, and then, everything's set. But for any event, it doesn't matter whether it's a birthday or a family gathering or just a trip out to the park, whatever. It's always good, really, to come half an hour early, especially for special occasions if the person's getting dressed up for the special occasion. Now, that may seem a long period of time. What, half an hour? Coming half an hour early, what would you do within that half an hour? Well, actually, there's a lot to do often. For example, if your mother's had breakfast and some of the breakfast has gone down the front of her top, she'll have to change her outfit. That's a big deal. Hopefully it wasn't the best dress for the birthday that was, had the cereal or whatever on it. Yeah, so probably worth on special occasions to ask to get the dress put on just before your mother goes out. Then that will save that problem. The second thing is toileting. She may want to go to the toilet before she goes out. If it's an hour since toilet rounds, that'll take another 10 minutes. She might be thirsty. It's a good idea to get her, a drink of water. Or she may be unsettled, anxious. So that's why it's good to just sit down for 10 minutes or so with your mother, explain what's happening, that say it's her friend's birthday, Margaret, and Margaret's turning 80, and that you're going to her friend's birthday, and show her a photo of Margaret, maybe from the photo album, a recent photo, so she knows who Margaret is. She recognises Margaret. Oh, yes, I recognise. Oh, it's 80. Oh, good. Explain to her who's going to be there at the birthday party. She may not remember, but at least she'll have an idea. So you can say, look, all the grandchildren will be there. So at least she's expecting children to be there. And, all the other siblings. So that 4 children and 5 grandchildren, however many are going to be there. And if it's at your place, and she knows your place because she goes there, each Sunday for lunch, or once a month for lunch, or whatever it is. Explain that to her, that that's where you're going, to your place for the special birthday, and you know the place because you've been there many times before for lunch on a Sunday. So once she's orientated, that's good. Once she's orientated to where she's going, what's happening, etc., she'll be more settled. Now, it does take time. I mean, a lot of patience and tolerance is needed because especially you'll be busy if it's a birthday. Probably there's lots to prepare. And life itself is busy anyway, with so many things to take into consideration on all accounts, work, life, family, etc. To try and deal with a parent that has dementia where everything has to be on go slow mode for them to be able to relax and unwind and take it in can be quite a test of tolerance. But one just has to really tune in to the present moment and just try and let go of all the stress and anxiety and busyness in the mind, and just come into the present moment and just see what needs to be done at that point in time to settle your mother down, for her to relax and have everything in place so that you can go out on this lovely trip. Now, when you leave the unit, make sure to sign out with the name of the resident and the time that she's going out and the time she'll come back in, because for roll calls for fires, etc., on the unlikely event of a fire, then they'll look at the roll call to see the register, to see if people are out or not, or whether they're in rooms and need to go and get them. So that's important. Also, say whether your mother needs to have a meal kept for her or not when she comes back, or whether she'll be having the meal outside. And thirdly, medications. If medications are needed, to get the medication from the charge nurse, the dosage and when to take it. So there is a lot to consider. Now, if your mother does not need a wheelchair, that's a big help. In terms of walking, chances are she'll need some assistance. So I'll just go through the best walking, assisted walking patterns. Now, if the person's really independent and can walk well, they've got good stability, good balance, good stride, even up curbs and on up and down slopes, which is unlikely actually, because most dementia residents, if they've been in the facility for 4 months or so, they are now used to just flat, totally flat terrain. No curbs, no bumps, no potholes. So their balance reactions aren't as efficient or as active as they were before they went into the facility. So going into the facility, you may have just needed to hold them by the hand and they'd be fine. But really, after 4 or 5 months in a dementia unit, they need a bit more help with balance. So one of the best ways, if they're not taking up a walker and if they're not in a wheelchair, just ask them to link their hand around your upper arm and keep your arm close to your side, and they just put their hand inside your upper arm. Now, this is a fantastic grip, because rather than them just holding on to your inner arm and it floating by your side, if you've got it tight to your side and they've got their hand, sorry, it's a bit difficult to show here, but their hand linked into your upper arm, then they've got their full stability, haven't they? You know, it's a good, stable, proximal grip for them, where your trunk is stable, the arm's stable, they've got a firm grip there, and they're perfectly safe because there's no maneuverability within the grip. Whereas a hand, just holding onto a hand, there's a lot of give in that. There's no proximal stability with that. And even just holding onto an arm to your side, it can waver a bit. So if your arm wavers, then they will waver. Whereas if your arm's closely gripped to your side like that, then that will be a firm proximal grip for them. If you need another person on the other side, then they can either hold on to their hand, that's okay, but at least on one side they've got a good firm grip. And most dementia residents have to have a certain amount of ability with walking anyway, and independence with walking, to be in the unit. So that grip, that upper arm grip, is a really good way of being able to go out with your parent, go to the cafe, go to the park, go out to your home, and this will all help in being able to be independent and, free of a walker and a wheelchair. It's so much nicer if the person can walk easily. It's a much happier experience walking with someone supporting. So I've written this book, these 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a former physiotherapist, Pieta Valentine, and I've written these 2 books to enable dementia residents to manage living in dementia facilities and hopefully have a better quality of life as a result applying these techniques. So thank you for your looks and your likes and subscriptions, and please subscribe if you find this information useful and pass on the links. Thank you.